Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, I am the owner of Crochet Cuddles. Here I crochet plushies and make content for YouTube, and I also sell those plushies at markets. Today is a really exciting video. I will be showing you how to crochet these cute little chicks. It's a no-sew beginner friendly pattern. If you are a little bit more advanced in crocheting, I will have my Ribblr pattern for these guys linked in the description, so you can just read the pattern instead of watching the tutorial. I'm very excited because we reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is a thank you for that. And without further ado, let us begin crocheting. To make this pattern, you will need 2 yarn colors. I will be using Baby Bee Adorable in the color Bumblebee Wings and Just Chenille in the color Salmon. Usually I would use more of a peach color. That one will be for the feet and the beak. But unfortunately I ran out of all my peach, so I will be using a 6mm crochet hook. Depending on your yarn size, you will need a different hook. Some scissors, a darning needle, a stitch marker. You can also use scrap yarn. I just find this much easier. And 12mm safety eyes. Depending on your yarn type, you will need a different size. And stuffing. For round 1, we will start with using our yellow yarn, and we will do a magic ring of 6. So the magic ring is probably the most difficult part of learning to crochet, so if you get past this part, you should be good. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn and wrap it around your pointer finger and your middle finger, like so. So you have like 2 circles. Then you're going to take your hook and insert it under the first circle loop and hook it around the second one, like so. I'll show that again. Okay. Then you're just going to pull your yarn through like that. This does not count as a stitch, it just gets this circle started. And then you can crochet your 6 stitches onto this loop. So insert the hook into this loop right here, wrap your yarn around, pull up the loop, and pull the yarn through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Once you have 6 stitches on here, you're going to take this little tail right here and you're going to pull it. This can be a little tricky sometimes. You're just going to pull it through until the circle is small and there's no excess crocheting space, I guess. So this can be really tricky if you're new to crocheting. So don't be discouraged. You can look up other tutorials for magic rings if you're having trouble. But for round 2, we're going to do an increase in every stitch. And what an increase is it's just 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So if you know how to crochet, you're good. Or you know how to do a single crochet, you're good. So you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch. This can be a bit tricky sometimes. And you're going to pull the yarn through and pull it through again. Then you will take your stitch marker and put it there, and that will mark the beginning of your row. So then you're going to crochet back into that same stitch again. So now you just made an increase. You're going to do that in every stitch around. It might be a little hard to see with this color. Once you've reached that stitch marker again, you know you're done with the round, and you can count your stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Now what I like to do here is pull this yarn again in the back just to make this circle smaller and less visible. And then I like to put a couple knots here. You don't have to do this. I just prefer to do this. I forgot to mention that we are starting from the top of the chick. We're making the head and we're working our way down. So for round 3, it's a simple pattern. We're going to single crochet 1, like so. Put our stitch marker back on there. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 1 increase. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around until we get back to the stitch marker again. So single crochet 1, increase in the next stitch. So right now I'm going to have 6 stitches after finishing this little bit. And when I get all the way back to the stitch marker again, I should have 18 stitches. Okay, I have finished my single crochet increase all the way around. Now I have 18 stitches. So we can start round 4, which is again very simple. All you do is single crochet 2, not in the same stitch, just 1 stitch, single crochet, and the next stitch, single crochet, and then increase. So 2 separate stitches, single crocheted, and then in the same stitch I'm going to increase. And by the way, when I was a beginner, I really struggled with, I did not know that you're supposed to go under both of these loops. I always went in the front loop like that. I never did this. So if you're a beginner, you have to go through both of the little V's is what they're called, I believe. So anyways, you just go, that was one part of the pattern, that was 1 repeat of the pattern, 2 single crochet, then an increase. And I'm going to single crochet 2 again and increase in the next stitch. So right now I have 8 stitches. When I get back to the stitch marker, I should have 24. Okay, with round 4 complete, I now have 24 stitches in my circle. So now we are done with the increasing rounds. For the next 3 rounds, all you're going to do is you're going to single crochet 1 in every stitch around, and you're going to do that for 3 rounds. So it's pretty simple. Oops. You might want to get a piece of paper to mark which rows you completed, or some people have fancy like row counting things, whatever works. So yeah, you're just going to single crochet 1 into every stitch around the entire circle, and then you're going to do that for 2 more rounds. So I will meet you after I have completed those 3 rounds of just single crochet. Okay, I have finished my 3 rows of single crocheting around. So we just completed row 7. Once you've done all of that, you should be starting to form this kind of half circle shape. But so now we are going to be moving on to row 8, and this is the first decreasing round. All you're going to do is you're going to do a 1 single crochet, stitch, oops, put the stitch marker in. Okay, and then you're going to do a decrease. So you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch. You're going to pull the yarn through as if you're going to do single crochet, but instead of pulling the yarn through like that, you're going to insert it into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, and then you're going to wrap the yarn around and pull all 3 of those stitches through. So that is a decrease. I will show you again. 1 single crochet, and then 1 decrease, pull through all 3 loops. Show you one more time. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Pull the loop up, insert it again, pull the loop up, and pull all 3 of the loops through. So by the end of this round, you should have 16 stitches. Alrighty, I have now completed row 8. So the hole is a little smaller now. You should have 16 stitches. And I actually lied earlier. We do have one more round of increasing. So this next round is just going to be a single crochet increase round, but you will have a different number of stitches than you did the first time you did a single crochet increase. You should have 24 stitches. Oops, I can never find my stitch marker. So this entire round, you're just going to do a single crochet, increase in the next stitch, and you're going to do that all the way around like you did on round 3. Okay, I just finished round 9, so now the body is starting to come back out again. You can kind of see that here. It goes out, I don't know. But in this next round, we are going to be making the wings, which are made with bobble stitches. I will show you how to do that, don't worry. It's not hard at all. So, you should have 24 stitches now around the circle. I'm going to start by doing 8 single crochet. Put our stitch marker on. I found it that time right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I apologize if the camera quality is not too good. I feel like it's hard to see, but I should have 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I apologize, that's my dog. Okay, with our 8 single crochet done, we are going to make the first wing. So, what you're going to do is before you insert your hook into the stitch, you're going to wrap your yarn around. You're going to be making 6 double crochet into 1 stitch, essentially. I'll show you. So wrap your yarn around your hook before you insert it into the stitch. Then you can insert it into the stitch. Pull the yarn through, and you'll have 3 loops on your stitch. Wrap the yarn around again, but only pull it through the first 2 loops. You're going to wrap your yarn around your hook again, insert it into that same stitch, pull it through, and pull the yarn through those first 2 loops. So you're going to do this 6 times. My yarn is very squeaky. One, two, three, four. 2 more times. I should have 6, 2, 4, 6 plus 1 extra. So technically you will have 7 loops on your hook. And then you're going to wrap your yarn around the hook and pull through all of those stitches. So you just made a bobble stitch. Pretty easy if you get used to it. So you just made one of these wings, probably this one. So now we're going to do 10 single crochet. It can be very tricky to find the next loop you're supposed to crochet in. A way to prevent getting the wrong amount of stitches is if you put another stitch marker right where if you put another stitch marker where the next stitch should be after you do the bobble, if that makes any sense. So I'll show you when we get there. I'm going to single crochet 10 around. I apologize for my squeaky yarn. So annoying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Depending on your tension, you may want to move the bobble stitches around. You may think they're too close together or too far. That's completely fine. Just adjust the stitch count accordingly. You can crochet less stitches between the bobble stitches, more stitches, whatever you think looks best. So now we're going to do another bobble stitch. So if you have trouble finding where you should crochet next after completing the bobble stitch, I would recommend, so this stitch right here is where we're going to be inserting the bobble stitch. So you can insert your stitch marker into this stitch right here for easier finding after crocheting the bobble stitch. So I'm going to do another bobble stitch. I will try to show you slowly again. Pull it through the first 2 loops, wrap it around again, insert it into the same stitch, pull it through the 2 loops, so we have 3 now, 3 more to go. 4, 5, and 6. I apologize if it's hard to see. This can be a little tricky. If you need to, you can always look up tutorials on bobble stitches elsewhere on YouTube, and they might have a better way of showing you than I do. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 loops on my hook. That's what I need. So now I'm going to wrap the yarn around and pull through all of those loops to create the second wing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to crochet 4 until we get to that stitch marker. So it looks like I only have 3 stitches left, but there's really 1 stitch hiding next to the bobble. It's just very difficult to see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what you will most likely have to do is pop this bobble stitch out so it's not inside out. But there you go, you have the 2 little wings done. So if you made it this far, you've got past the most difficult parts of this pattern. So congratulations. We're going to be placing the safety eyes next. Okay, so I have my 12mm safety eyes here. What we're going to do is we're going to start from where we did our magic circle, and we're going to count 5 rows down from that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is row 5, and this one right below it is row 6. That's where we're going to be inserting our safety eyes. This stitch marker represents roughly the back of the chick. It's not lined up perfectly, but so you're going to want to insert the safety eyes in front of where this stitch marker is, if that makes any sense. It doesn't really matter. I just think it ends up looking nicer here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between rows 5 and 6. So right here, this is row 5, this is row 6, and this guy should be moved over more. You're gonna have to play around with this a lot, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between rows 5 and 6. Okay. So I always have a hard time figuring out exactly where the safety eyes should go. So you can move them in closer or further, whatever you think looks the best. Now what we're going to do is we're going to embroider on the beak. So you will need your peach color. I can't find the end. Here we go. You're just going to cut off a decent strand of yarn from that. Mine sheds all over the place. You're going to put that in through your darning needle. And I recommend not putting on the backs of the safety eyes until you figure out the beak placement with the placement of the eyes. I think I'm going to move this one over a bit. So it takes a lot of moving around, but you're going to take your peach colored yarn and insert it through whatever stitch you think it should go through. Play around with this as much as you want. Oh, he looks cute actually. I didn't know if this color would be a good fit, but I'm going to play around with the placement a bit off camera because I want him to look very cute. But once you find the placement you like, you can take the backs of the safety eyes and put it on, and you can just tie these two strings together so that it doesn't come undone. Okay, I decided on this placement for the eyes. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches apart. I also melt the backs of my safety eyes so they are less likely to pop off. So they make it a little safer if someone buys it and they have like a kid in the house. But so the next 3 rounds again are just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So from row 11 to 13, you're just going to do 1 single crochet around. There was some safety eye floating around in the air. I don't even know how that happened. So yeah, if you melt your safety eyes, be very careful not to set anything on fire. But I am going to single crochet around for those 3 rows, and I will meet you back when I'm done. Alrighty, I have finished row 13 and those 3 rows of just single crocheting 1 in each stitch. My chick got a little dirty. There was like a safety eye floaty. I don't even know how that happens, floating around in the air, and it got on my hand, which got on the chick. So, but anyways, so the body should be a bit longer now. Now we're going to move on to row 14. We will do bobble stitches in this round as well. So you're going to start with 11 single crochet, squeaky yarn again. the stitch marker in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And before you do this last stitch, I'm going to show you a trick for color changing, because we will need to color change for the feet bobble stitches. Here I have my salmon color. I'm going to complete most of the stitch. I'm going to insert my hook. Sorry, my computer's turning off. There we go. Insert my hook into that stitch. Pull the loop through as normal, but before you pull through these 2 loops, you're going to take this salmon color and pull it through instead of the yellow. So it's pretty simple. Let me just make sure I have all 11 stitches now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a bobble stitch the same as when we made them with the yellow yarn. You're just going to do 6 double crochet into the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, this yarn, this loop was way too big. Sorry, this is hard to see. Okay, should have 7 loops actually. 2, 4, 6, and then that extra one. Perfect. So now you're going to wrap your yarn around and pull through all of those bobbles. I just need to make sure this doesn't come undone again. Alright. This yarn is a little difficult to work with. You see this right here is shedding, so I'm going to redo this bobble stitch, but it is the same pattern. I will come back in just a second with a better looking stitch. Okay, I redid the stitch. It looks much nicer now. This yarn is just it likes to shed a lot, so it makes it difficult to crochet. But anyways, now we are going to single crochet 5 with the yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just making sure they will line up. Going to single crochet. Sorry, this is a tangled mess. Okay, you're going to take your yellow yarn, even though it's still attached to this. You're just going to do a single crochet like normal. So now you have color changed back to yellow. I hope that was not too confusing. I know the camera angle is not perfect, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And before we complete that stitch, we're going to bring this yarn back and finish it off like so. Okay, I'm going to come back and tighten this stitch a bit as well. Alright, perfect. So now we're going to do another bobble with 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Make sure I have the right number. 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to tighten the stitch a bit by pulling that. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through all those loops. So now all we have to do is switch back to yellow, and we're going to cut this yarn actually. I recommend leaving a relatively long tail so we can secure these two ends together. But we won't do that yet. First we're going to, using our yellow yarn, single crochet 6. So, sorry for the bad angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I feel like the camera is so blurry it makes it hard to see, so I apologize if you're having trouble seeing. But I'm just going to tighten some of these strings in here, and I'm going to knot together these two ends of the salmon just so the stitches stay nice. I like to use a lot of knots all throughout my work. I like to make sure everything is very secure. Okay, at this point we can add a little bit of stuffing. We don't need too much. We still have quite a few more rounds where we can stuff. Let me set this aside really quick. But you're going to take your stuffing and just put it in the head. That is enough stuffing for now. I will do some more later on, but we just have 2 more rows left. So before we stuffed the head, we finished round 14, so now we're moving on to round 15, which is just 1 decrease in every stitch around. So, in case you don't remember how, insert it into the stitch as if you're going to make a single crochet, but instead of pulling the yarn through a second time, instead you're going to insert it into the next stitch. So you should get 3 loops on your hook. Pull all of those through and put our stitch marker on that stitch. So now we're just going to decrease all around. Alrighty, I finished decreasing all around, so we went from 24 stitches to 12 stitches. Now I'm just going to add a bit more stuffing, and a little trick if you don't know what to do with your yarn scraps or are running a bit low on stuffing is you can use all these yarn scraps from my shedding yarn, take some stuffing and just kind of hide it in there. I keep a little baggie full of my yarn scraps so I can do this. Usually I would use it on a larger project than this, but just put that in there. I want to make sure the stuffing makes them firm but still squishable. You don't want it to hurt if someone were to throw it at you. Sorry, my chair is very squeaky, but you're just gonna keep stuffing. It's kind of hard to film and stuff at the same time, so I apologize. I'm not giving you any good tricks when it comes to stuffing because you can't see, but you want the body and the head to be about the same level of stuffing. I try to make like a circle with my thumbs, so you can see there's kind of like a hole. No, you can't tell, but there's kind of like a hole. There's only stuffing around the sides, so I can just continue adding stuffing around, like in the middle of that hole made of stuffing. So I'm gonna keep going with this, but yeah, just know that all I'm doing is stuffing. Okay, I'm done stuffing him. So now we're moving on to row 16, which is the final row of this pattern. So once again, all we are going to do is decrease in every stitch around, or technically it's not in every stitch around, it's more you're going to decrease all the way around, but hopefully you know what I mean. So we're just going to do 6 decreases because that's all that is left. And at the end of this row, you should have 6 stitches. So I'm going to do this off camera because my yarn is very squeaky and it's quite annoying. But all I'm doing is decreasing all around. So I will see you when I'm done. Okay, I finished all the decreases. So now I have only 6 stitches left around. I'm going to take out my stitch marker because we won't be needing it anymore. You want the chick to be able to sit up on its own, but you also want to make sure it has enough stuffing. So if need be, mine needs a bit more. You can add more stuffing, but keep in mind, the more you stuff it, the more circular it's going to make the bottom, which is going to make it harder for the chick to sit up on its own. So I think we're good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the yarn. I was hoping it would make a satisfying noise, but it did not really. So now we're going to just pull the yarn through. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm not a very good teacher. That's what I've learned today. But now you're going to take your needle and insert it through this tail. It's hard to see. I'm looking through the camera. Alright, so now you're going to insert the needle through the front of this stitch. So right now I have 2 loops on the needle, so I'm going to make it so I only have the front loop, and then I'm going to do the same in the next stitch. I'm going to pull that through, and I'm just going to do that all around. You can go through both loops, it's just cleaner if you go through only the front one. Now pull the circle closed and just insert your needle into a stitch close to that. And voila, the body is done. So what I like to do is keep inserting the needle through just completely random spots now, just to ensure that everything is in there tightly. Does not matter where you insert the needle, as long as you insert it back through the same stitch. Otherwise it's going to create, like, you're just going to be able to see the yarn poking through. That did not make any sense. I apologize. It doesn't really matter though. I'm just tightening the tail inside the body now. Alright, got a little fluffy. Okay, So you can be done with the pattern here, or what I like to do is add this little tuft of hair on top. I think it gives it a little more personality, makes it look more like a baby. This guy looks kind of like a duck, which is okay. Ducks are cute too, but all you're gonna do is take a little bit of yarn, not very much, pull off the little fluffies, and then you're gonna take your hook, or not your hook, your needle, insert it through there, and then you're going to go to the top of the chick, the magic ring, and insert that little bit of yarn through there. Grab one end so it doesn't all go through. Okay. And now you're just going to do like a double knot or triple. Like so. I did 3 knots to make sure it's secure. And then you're going to do that one more time, or as many times as you want. It'll just make the fluff more obvious. I think I usually, only do 2. Insert the needle through. Insert it through the magic ring. I apologize, it's really hard to see. Okay, sorry about that. But now I'm going to make 2. I think I can only do 2 knots. I made this one a little too short, but it's okay. It should be pretty secure. Now all you have to do is take your scissors and cut the tuft. Oops. Make them kind of even. Mine are not even. They should be relatively short. I think this is a little too long. Okay. Something like that. And your chick is complete. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. I enjoyed making it. I apologize. I know I'm not the best teacher, but you can always find tutorials elsewhere on YouTube for how to do the certain stitches, and just follow this video for the pattern if you found it hard to follow. I was a beginner once too. I definitely struggled a lot with learning to crochet, but I really hope you enjoyed making your little chick. I don't have an Instagram that you can what's the word, like tag me in, but I do have Ribblr, and if you'd like, you can make a journal on there and insert a picture of your completed chick. I would love to see how yours came out. Thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. I can't not believe it. I'm very excited. I hope to make more tutorials in the future. Thank you for watching, and I pray you have an awesome week. Bye!